You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals, funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Happy Monday, November 17th. I'm Howard, and I've got my partner in crime, BigBeat, here today for the news. Quieter news weekend on the surface, but under the hood, we have a crunch week coming up. NVIDIA earnings on deck. The government finally tuning the data fire hose back on after the shutdown and a full lineup of retail earnings to test the consumer. This morning, futures just went from green to red. S&P and NASDAQ pointing slightly down. Dow basically flat as traders line up to buy the AI dip, but keep one hand on that eject button handle, as you mentioned this morning, BigBeat. So I've got the analogy to start us off today. I feel like I'm at the DMV, and there are 4 different lines I have to choose from. Line 1, AI and NVIDIA. Line 2, Fed and data. Line 3, consumer and retail. And line 4, Bitcoin, gold, IPOs, and the fringe. Where are we starting?
I'm going to get them back in my car and leave the goddamn DMV. Look, it's very simple. Some problems were solved. Some problems have now exacerbated. Some problems are getting worse. Some are getting it's just a whole bunch of nonsense going on right now. I tell you, I think the biggest story of the weekend was China moving into Japan. Massive ships no longer off the coast to Taiwan. They're just going. Screw it. Let's go Japan. We'll show them a force strength they've not seen in a while. I mean, you know, when you look at Canada this morning, you know, they're telling you that their inflation is dropping faster than ever, right? So, look, the world is kind of in flux right now. And I kind of like this thing with Steve Flanagan saying quantum convergence, right? There is this thing where it seems like the world's flipping around a bit. And there's, unfortunately, I hate to say the word, that chaos. It's chaos in a lot of ways, right? We need some clarity. We need to understand the basic forces that are happening right now. But if you look at it from the perspective of what people have been asking about, and that's the jobs numbers. So we'll get into all this stuff. But overall, Howard, I can understand why people are getting nervous. They just, okay, screw it. I'll just raise more cash. 8.2 trillion now sitting on the sideline. Crazy amounts of money sitting on the sideline. So, and you know what's interesting? I mean, real estate taxes are coming up for a lot of people, and so they do need cash. So here you go.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. There's all of them. You started with one that I had picked out myself. VIX is flashing about a 1.3% daily swing. And to me, that tells us, as you say, that tells us everything, right? Volatility's perked up. VIX is implying about 1.3% daily moves in the S&P. That's roughly 88 points a day, up about 30% from just a few weeks ago. So the market's moved from, this is fine, to I should probably pay attention pretty quickly. Part of that is the data desert we've been in because of the government shutdown. And now here we come. Thursday, we finally get our jobs report. And that starts off the data. CPI, you know, is this kind of like Schrodinger's data? Maybe it does exist or maybe it doesn't.
I called it the wacky numbers today, this week. So expect wacky numbers. I don't, how are we going to process this? It's not just how humans are going to process these data. It's how algos are going to process the data. And it's going to throw the algos off a bit. So I'm not really sure how the algos are going to handle it because there's a lot of algos out there right now.
Yep. And we get on Wednesday, we're going to get our Fed minutes from the October's meeting. And then we get into December 8th, which is right now basically a coin flip on a pause or 25 basis points cut here. So we have that moving
Yeah,
in
they're
the
gonna
wrong direction.
They're
And then we've got a big optics issue with Fed Governor Adriana Kugler's disclosure showing trading in individual stocks during blackout periods. That's now in the Inspector General's lap. So not market moving by itself, but it feeds into the narrative of a Fed that's trying to steer policy while also dealing with its own governance headaches, the president yapping at them, and they're dropping like flies.
Well, break the law and see what happens. You know, you are a member of the Federal Reserve. You should be held to a higher standard. You are the president.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm not going to defend this person, but she did report herself, and it looks like her husband made some bad decisions. But either way, you go down with the ship.
I'm not gonna give somebody crap for making a bad decision in trades, but you don't trade based on the knowledge.
Listen, don't get me down that, because I was looking at this over the weekend.
Right.
It took me into some of our congressional leaders, and that might be an episode we do later this week. I was actually thinking more Thanksgiving week when things die down. A fun one will be to pick on our government for a little bit, because it's amazing at the accuracy of some of the traders that we have.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. And you know, and it's one thing that, you know, and they're not even smart at like what they do. And what I mean there is, it's not like they buy Apple because they know that something's going on with tech. They buy like Kratos Defense a week before it gets a contract, when they know, when they're on the Armed Service Committee meeting, you know, stuff where it's literally, you know, the smaller end of the spectrum, not, you know, a pick in an ETF. So just crazy in general. Steve, let's move. We got to talk about NVIDIA, right? I mean, it's the $1 trillion, or if you're listening to Jensen Huang, the $4 trillion, I believe, right? $500 billion, excuse me, $1 million order book. They report Wednesday after close. Street's looking for about $55 billion in revenue and $1.25 EPS, with data center growth still expected to be up nearly 60% year on year. So expectations are high. Do you think they come in?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. But again, I don't really care if they don't beat. That's a problem because they've lowered expectations. But the question again is guidance. What is Jensen Huang going to say to make me feel good about NVIDIA? Now,
well, exactly. You know, his comment at GTC was just NVIDIA had about $500 billion in the orders booked across 25 and 26. Blackwell now, Rubin coming. You know, that's the core of the bull case. It isn't a one-quarter story. It's a multi-year CapEx cycle. Is he going to tell us who's buying what?
So, what you know, I was on Schwab a few weeks ago, and I told Nicole buildings. Nicole asked about NVIDIA, and I said, "Look, I don't like NVIDIA at 220, right? I didn't. It's too high. It was out of control. People were just buying it because everybody is just pushing up, and now everybody's just selling it because everybody's selling it. I mean, that's not how. Great, thank you. Now you've given me a great company on sale. So there it is. Now we're at 187.27 off 1.5% this morning." We're getting back to those numbers where I'm feeling a little more comfortable buying the stock, you know. And here's an interesting point about it, right? I was reading an article this morning on the Wall Street Journal saying quantum computing is coming faster than people expect. And I've said that. I've said, look, you know, we should get past the AI, because AI's thing is, it's still, we're in the first inning of AI. But in order for AI to keep pushing, we got quantum computing. And quantum computing is, we're not even in the first pitch. And so when we look at it from that perspective, and you look at Qubit this morning, QUBT, they came in big time earnings, and all of a sudden, quantum computing is first and foremost, and NVIDIA is going to be right there with it. So no, if Jensen Huang says, hey, Qubit, or he says something about quantum computing, I'm going to be like, yeah, they're on the right path. I love the guidance, and let's go. But I need to see that first, though.
Yeah, I mean, and some big investors. The other side of that narrative, of course, is SoftBank fully exits a multi-billion-dollar NVIDIA stake And Peter Thiel's fund dumps all 537K NVIDIA shares, which were about 40% of that portfolio. And then you got Michael Burry still out there as the poster child of AI is going too far crowd. So you have firms like Evercore and Wedbush telling clients to buy NVIDIA into earnings. They see Wednesday as a potential sentiment reset if Jensen comes out with another confident guide and maybe some clarity on China chip restrictions. So, Steve, here's the fun question. Are we in a true AI bubble, or is it just classic growth cycle with scary headlines?
Yes and yes. We do have scary headlines because that's what sells news. Everybody was excited about AI 3 weeks ago when the market was pushing higher and higher and higher, and it was going crazy. And you got to get into AI now because you're going to miss it. Don't follow that. That's why we built Quasar Markets, was to get rid of that noise. When the stocks were way out of whack, we was way out of whack. Now when we come back down, now nobody wants to get back in because it's too scary. Oh, that's what I'm trying to tell you, right? Don't follow the crowd.
Absolutely.
This whole adage of the trend is your friend till it's not. Trend doesn't give a crap about you, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, market has no emotions. That's for sure. Absolutely doesn't. It doesn't feel bad for you in any way, shape, or form. So, Steve, how are you thinking about the rest of the AI complex then around this? Names like AMD, AVGO, and the hyperscalers. Are these peers that you'll be picking up this week going into NVIDIA then?
Well, and when people don't have anything to do during Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays and Hanukkah and New Year's and all the different holidays.
Don't forget Festivus for the rest of us.
Festivus for the rest of us. I just want, by the way, if you have not seen that on, I believe it's
the best Seinfeld, one of the best.
But there's a new one with Jerry's or Ben Stiller's mom and dad, right?
Oh, okay.
There's a new biopic on it from they passed away and Ben's doing a thing.
Yeah.
Look, what are these people going to be doing? They're going to be hating their aunt and uncle and sitting at the small table at Thanksgiving. They're going to be ChatGPT. They're going to be Googling. They're going to be watching movies. They're going to be doing all those things. And the internet's going to be needing it. Electricity is going to be needed. This is not unusual, right? This is what happens during this time. So no, I think what you're going to find out is that people are going to be talking about. I was out this weekend, and what crypto should I buy? See, which crypto should I buy? What should I buy? Should I buy this meme coin? Dude, I don't know. Ask Howard. I mean, I'm not into meme coins, right? I don't know, right? Ask Howard. But Bitcoin, okay, great. Well, Bitcoin is dropped.
Yeah, no one wants it when it's on sale right now. It's funny to me, and I will come out on record right now. I do think that this is the final capitulation of this trend. So I do think this is where this feels like the past right now. Finally, because it hadn't up until here. And as you know, even as you've been sort of saying, I think this is it. I've been on the other end of that. This is where I'm saying now, this feels like it. It means it could be a rough day today. Don't get me wrong. It could be a very rough day today.
Somebody call Ron Williams and tell him that we're on the same page on crypto.
Yeah. So this is when you buy. This to me is going to be a good opportunity. This is it. Here's the time to do it. One of our other friends decided he was going to start going on a little bit of a buying spree here. Mr. Buffett just bought some $4.3 billion bet on Google. Okay. Well, I'm saying buy Bitcoin. Don't do that to me. Bitcoin.
Gotcha. All right, I'll change it.
Buy Bitcoin, because there are others that are in different areas, and we never buy meme coins. So I don't want people running out to get fart coin.
No, we don't do that.
So Bitcoin. I mean, then don't get me wrong. Ethereum, Solana, all of them. We're hitting that convergence. You can see we're jumping up here now, 94,360.
All right, so Honda, you're saying Bitcoin. What else?
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Aave, the blue chips. Stick with the blue chips. Okay. Start there.
Ethereum.
Yeah, Aave, Uniswap, Chainlink is big on my list. Avalanche. I mean, there's a lot, but those But this is the time that we start to recover. But it's Bitcoin first. I'm going to start with Bitcoin.
All right. Correct.
Yeah, I do think it's time. So now back to Mr. Buffett, because that's who people care about as an investor.
You think so?
He trimmed his Apple, Steve. I was a little surprised by that. Added Google and Chubb. So old Buffett doesn't buy tech meme is dead, but it's more interesting is where the tech is he's betting. Alphabet has been one of the cheaper mega cap AI plays by price to earnings ratio, right? Partly because people were worried about ChatGPT and Perplexity would eat their search lunch. Now you've got Alphabet's own AI models drawing more search traffic, heavy spend on info, and maybe Gemini 3 launch as soon as this week. Prediction markets have the odds north of 90%. Alphabet's up about 5% in the pre-market. Apple slightly down. So it looks like this is the swan song, right?
Warren says that he never buys anything he doesn't understand. I don't think Warren Buffett bought this. I think this is Anka Jane. I think it's Greg Abel, the two now that are running Berkshire Hathaway. And I get it. People have asked about Google a lot. Google has some issues, no doubt about it. And Gemini is not. I don't see when I'm out and about. I don't see anybody going on their Google and asking Gemini for questions. They asked for
so I'm going to put it, but here's where it is tied into is what I've noticed is like my wife's company. It's tied into that's the one they've bought for their employees because their subscription's already with Google for their
their workspace, right? Their emails.
So I do want to point that out. It's something I did notice because I do my channel checks, and that was interesting to me because I'm with you. I'm like I've never used it. It seems sort of. I mean, my search. I use ChatGPT for my search. So for me it was an interesting one there. It's going to be interesting to play it out. Alphabet versus Nvidia versus Microsoft, who has the right choice there is going to be the question. Steve, we are 10 minutes from the start here.
They're all going to go the same. I don't think there's any difference.
10 minutes from the start, tick is slightly down about 250, advanced decline down about 300, so fairly neutral on the day. S&P slated to open up down about a 0.25 percentage point. Same thing with the Qs. Dow doing a little bit better. Gold holding its 4,000 level, but again, if the world's going to hell, shouldn't gold be going higher? But Steve, you are happy because silver is back above 50, so nice for you. And again, oil can't break the 60 handle, Steve.
Well, they're broken a couple times this morning, but it just can't hold, right? So that tells you where the economy is, right? If oil pushes higher, then we feel like the economy is moving along because it's plastic and it's all the stuff that we know that oil does, not just gasoline. It's a problem, though. I mean, it was interesting. I sent you this morning about the storage facilities in the EU for nat gas, that they're not at 100%. They're at 80 and 60 and 70%, depending on the country. Russia's spigot has been slowed down. There's a problem, right? And when you look at that, North Sea Brent crude, right, is going to be pushing higher. So if I were to think about any oil right now, it would be in the North Sea, and the refineries that are on that west coast of Europe, shall we say, like England and the Wales area. Coal is also another big one. I think we talked about that too a little bit. Expect that to be a big question mark, right? If that's all the case, right? And why am I saying this? Because the United States of America is a massive exporter of LNG or natural gas. So expect natural gas companies to push higher here as we start to fill up that gap that's been put there by Russia. And I'll just say by Putin. That could be a very big boon for a lot of nat gas producers. Especially in the Louisiana area and West Texas. So, And here's an interesting situation. I mean, a lot of these crypto miners are now building next to natural gas plants, right? They don't want the oil. they want the natural gas, right? So as they burn the nat gas off, there's oil now. And you can't just burn the natural gas off because oil has to come up. So the oil's going to be there. So now you got to bring it up, and now you're going to have a glut of oil. And you're starting to see that glut of oil in the price. So there's a whole gamut around it, and I'm a little concerned. So keep your eye on Europe nat gas issues. You see what I mean by the whole world matters, right? If there's a problem here, it affects U.S. refineries. It affects crypto miners. So all of a sudden, how does that thing work? And again, I like this word, quantum convergence, with Steve Flanagan. So yeah, we can bring it into almost everything. I like this. This is quality. I gave him a good homework assignment. I think I'm gonna give an A+ on it.
Awesome. Let's jump to our next subject here, the consumer. We get a mini retail earnings parade this week. Tuesday, Home Depot. Wednesday, Target, Lowe's, TJ Maxx, Williams Sonoma. Thursday, Walmart, Ross, Intuit, plus a few others sprinkled in. Inflation has made lower income shoppers more price sensitive. SNAP benefits, we know, were delayed during the shutdown. Tariffs are shifting. The White House just removed some food tariffs, banana, beef, and coffee, and is still claiming victory on prices. We've also got the Thanksgiving basket wars. Walmart says it can feed 10 people for under $4 a head, but the basket is smaller than last year, and the turkey is smaller than last year, and Target under $5 a person for 4. But again, a different mix of items versus last year. The marketing message is we've got you, but in reality, we've also changed what we're going to give you. So, Steve, what are you watching more closely here? Top line comps or margins? Are Walmart and Target going to buy share with promos or eat margin? And are they going to protect profitability?
They already are. Look, it's very simple, and I tell people this every year. This is my secret to this. I'll give it to everybody here. If you want to understand retail, go to your Gmail, go to your promotions tab, and type in the numbers 60 or 70 or 80, and figure out how many people are doing sales on 60% off. It's not really a sale. 70% off, 80, 85. That's a sale. That's like wow. And I'm seeing that at the outlet malls now already. So it's going to be a very weak retail. I know people at Target that are talking about how weak it is, and layoffs are pretty high. I'm hearing that Amazon might not even hire as many from last year to help with the movement of product. UPS and FedEx, they have it under control. Wow. For holiday spending. Wow. Is gift cards going to be the new thing? That's what we do this year. If that's so, then expect Apple and those companies that have, those ecosystems that need, money. Microsoft's a good example of that. Sony will be a good example of that for PlayStation. I think it won't be LL Bean shirts and camping gear. I think this year is going to be a gift card year.
Going to be a gift card year. Okay. Well, we'll see. I have said, what I've seen, or at least I've been told from the wife, is that the shopping has been very, very, very strong so far. A lot of things moving off the shelves, people definitely buying.
Less things on the shelf. Less things are on the shelf. That's what we're saying now. That they're not restocking at the same level. That I do know. I've spoken to several retailers on that side of it. On the not from the buyer, from the actual retailer themselves, saying that we're not restocking at the same level to make it look like things are moving off the shelf fast. So they're actually they have a percentage that they up and down it based on the day, and they're saying that they're not going to keep stocking shelves as fast. That's a concern.
Absolutely. Hey, I don't want people to panic today when you wake up and you see your Netflix is trading at 1/10 of where it was on Friday, or when you looked at it over the weekend. Netflix did complete its 10-for-1 split here, Steve. Just a quick pit stop in streaming land. If you own 1 share, now you get 10 shares for roughly 1/10. Market cap's unchanged, and you didn't make money or lose money, or at least you shouldn't. So just want people to know what they're looking at there. I've made that once before. I forget what the stock was back about 10 years ago that split and gave me a heart attack. So just wanted to bring that up to people. We do have to talk about some names out there, Steve. Computer hardware definitely getting hit hard today. Dell and HP were both downgraded to underweight by Morgan Stanley. The thesis is that the memory supercycle ends up pressuring hardware margins into 2026. Soft spot inside the broader tech trade right now. Steve, you buying the dip on any of these?
Steve Flanagan just bought a Dell.
And I know that you are a fan. I am a fan. I have a new Dell myself. I have their Alienware product.
The question is that are people buying computers? I don't think so. I think they're buying laptops and iPads, and they're replacing their computers with iPads and laptops. They shouldn't be. They need that power horse at home, but they don't. And I don't know how people are keeping up with the rest of us. I'm gonna tell you, I don't see how anybody can just have a laptop and win the war here, right? You just can't do it. Your machine. I just have people come over to the house and see all the machines that I have, and like that's why I have an advantage, right? It's not that I have an advantage because I have all the machines around me, right? But people aren't doing that.
I will point that out to traders. It's one thing that I've noticed. It's fun. You get you get the exact polar opposites. You have the folks like Steve, and I fall into that too, that have 20 screens and 3 different, desktops working right now. And you have the folks that are trading off of their phone. And think they can keep up, and it is tough. Get yourself some big screens, get yourself a few of them. One thing that I learned is don't attach too many to one computer. It's a lot better to have a couple of different desktops and have 3 monitors, 4 at the most on each of them.
Cheap desktop. You don't even need expensive desktops. You just need cheap ones, right?
Yeah, because some of them I just use to keep my Slack and my text, my tweet deck and data just running all day.
Separate them,
then right. So
it's
something I've noticed again. One of those things that's always a sort of an oxymoron.
We are open here, Howard.
We are open, and first move is to the downside, pretty swift there, down 0.5 percentage point on the Qs now. SPY down 41 basis points. So the algos read the news as a negative take over the weekend. S&P down 42 and moving to the downside. Dow Jones opens up down 26 basis points and looking to break back below 47K here. So, Steve, you had called for 50K by the end of the year. You still sticking with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
TIX negative 377, advanced decline down about 1,600, so not too far one way or the other. Mag 7, Google, but everyone loves what Mr. Buffett loves, up another 3.9% here this morning on Google, while the rest of the Mag 7 are down. We do see NVIDIA is down about 2.49%, moving to the downside. Apple down 1.88%. Netflix won't get nervous.
Jefferson now says still not clear how much government data will be coming out today. Also says the balance of risks has shifted in recent months with increased potential downside to employment. That should tell you they're going to have to cut rates. That's what I've been saying.
I mean, again, that's a week to week look. I mean,
they're going to cut rates. I don't know what anybody's thinking. They're going to cut rates. They have to, or the Fed's completely.
It's moved since this morning. It's moved now 57 to staying, 42 to the change. So people are not buying it the same way you're seeing it so far.
That's okay. They didn't see it when I sold.
Yeah, absolutely no. I'm just pointing out what the Fed Watch is telling us.
Well, I think you can cut Fed Watch. I mean, I like it and I understand what they're thinking, but I don't agree with it. They're not. Yeah. 94,000
to tell you where the traders' views are.
Where some traders' views are, they're not all into it, right? So that's where the bond market comes into play, right? So I don't put a lot of faith into the Fed Watch right now. I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong.
Well, but the bond's been saying the same thing. Rates been going up.
Yeah, they have been.
So
94.5 right now.
Then I'll use your preferred gauge there, Mr. Chairman, and point out that has moved from a low of 3.9 all the way up to 4.142, and I'll wait for your rebuttal.
Disney's at 106. I'm still long a lot of this stuff.
Love that. Love it. The mouse moving in the right direction here today. We'll talk with some of the early morning movers. Steve mentioned Qubit earlier. It's given up half of its gains, now only up 7%. We'll see. So the algo's selling that off. WeRide had a good pre-market, up about 2.7% here this morning. That was on news that Abu Dhabi has allowed them to start their robotaxi service there. Alibaba up 2.95% on news that they will invest 300 billion yuan into AI infrastructure over the next 3 years. So that CapEx over there seems to be working out well. Another one, Albemarle, Steve, just set a new 52-week high here at 122, up about 5.59% here today. Nice move to the upside.
One of my faves, as you know. Yeah.
We'll mention out of the depths comes Figure, the stablecoin company, up almost 10% here this morning. Was up big on Friday also, after Cathie Wood's statement that stablecoins have outperformed even her expectations. Google, we talked about, up 4.57, moving to the upside, still here.
I think we push higher here. Sorry.
Yeah, looks like it wants to set an all-time high.
We're pushing here a little bit.
Micron up about 3.78, catching a bid here this morning. Nice move to the upside. Mag 7 nicely recovering, is helping out with what Steve mentioned with us moving to the upside. Microsoft, nice move up. Amazon, a huge bond offering here today, Steve. It is now down. I was interesting because they announced a big bond offering and the stock actually went up. That is usually the opposite from what we expect to see, right?
Yep.
Meta down a little bit more today, 604 still there. Tesla has gone positive on the day. Tesla did have some news over the weekend. They are in a report that they're pushing suppliers to remove China-made components from U.S.-built cars over the next year or two. It's geopolitics and cost structure rolled into one. So Tesla trying to make sure that their U.S. cars are manufactured in the U.S.
The Apple down a little bit here too. I mean, are people concerned about the Tim Cook succession here? I don't know, but I don't. I'm kind of looking forward to a new CEO that's got a more forward thinking.
Okay. What I'd point out, Steve, is you just mentioned about that channel check on Check Your Things. We got the wife a new iPhone a couple of weeks ago, and it cost us a little bit of money. Now they've sent me an offer to get mine upgraded and not cost us any money, and now have taken the fee off of the wife's that we were going to have every month. So I've noticed that they are moving more to give them away. Now, that doesn't matter to Apple because Apple doesn't pay for that. T-Mobile does, in my case. So it'll be interesting.
And you don't care, right? So, I mean,
it doesn't matter to me if it's free. I was not going to get the new one because to me it was a little underwhelming. But now for just paying the taxes, I probably will. And it's more because mine's like a 13 and I'm worried that they're going to cut off support, because it's at the edge of where they do their stuff to kind of make you buy a new one.
You gotta have technology. 95.3 now on Bitcoin as it's popping here. I didn't get scared.
Like I said, I do. Now it's got to regain 97.
Hey, Honda says buy Bitcoin. The Bitcoin goes up live here on the channel, boys and girls. I mean, look, it pays to stay.
Yeah, I mean, that was just that might have been the final capitulation right there. And then now news, Saylor and everybody will be out. He spent $800 million. I mean, almost $1 billion buying Bitcoin over the week. He teased it on Friday. We let everybody know here Friday. Now you're getting the news of it. So yeah, it definitely looks like, we're seeing a thing. I will say Fear and Greed also is at 15, which we haven't seen since 2022. And anyone that bought in 2022, like Steve and I were, understands that this is when everybody else is running for the exits. This is where you actually make your money.
Ticker. When they run for the exit, you buy their.
And again, it won't be a straight shot. There'll be other dips here, but it's going to move today. It's moving big, and it's going to start to liquidate the hell out of those because negativity went so far that it's moving people irrationally.
On Tarker right here, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go. There it is. Come on. Run, baby, run.
About 96 right now.
I ain't scared.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Had you listened to Howard when Howard said it at 9:15 this morning, he said it.
Google up about 5.44% here, so still moving to the upside here. Tesla up 62 basis points here.
Solana's up 3.5%.
Yeah, Uniswap's the big one, up 11 here, getting a run. Uniswap's going to do a fee burn structure with now. That's really going to change the tokenomics there. That's one of the ones to keep an eye on, Uniswap. And again, we won't go straight up. You're going to have some things. I'll tell you what's another one that's on sale right now is Chainlink.
Disney's at
Chainlink is
107
on
here.
sale at $14.12. In fact, I am buying some with Chainlink right now.
What are you buying, Howard?
Yeah, Chainlink.
LINK, right?
Yeah. Try to get it back at 14 even.
Dollar is pushing higher here. I think it just broke the 99.50 now handle. I mean, the tick right now is positive by 116. So it's not crazy positive here, but it's positive enough. I mean, 106.89 now on 90, 91, 93 on Disney.
Yep.
And Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ are now positive.
Yeah, they're now positive.
I'm not scared of this market. That's what I'm saying. They were trying to shake you out. Did you get shook out? Well, that's on you, right? I mean, that's why we sit here where we sit. Let's go.
I mean, and you're right. I mean, that's what they tried to scare you into the cash open on crypto, hoping you'd sell your iBit or sell whatever it is. And now moving to the upside. Could be a good day for those crypto stocks here, folks. If you're looking for a play, you could get involved in those. They will probably start to move to the upside. The one's negative. Gotta like Coinbase on sale here personally. 274.82. I love Coinbase here.
107.09 now on Disney. And we're about to go positive on RCL. So for those of you who are out there that get nervous, not nervous. Be strong, be tough, and understand what the market's talking to you about. And I didn't need a news headline to tell me that. It's how I play the markets. Be the ticker tape. The path of least resistance is to the upside now. It's not to the downside.
Right.
Because when they couldn't push it down even further, they pushed it up. But at the top, you know, when it was 125,000 on Bitcoin, it was rough. It was kind of tough pushing that button up to the upside. It slammed and push up, slam, push up, slam. Now it's the other way around. They push it down and push it back up. So now we're at that boat, at that point now. So yeah, they blew everybody out of the water on Bitcoin there. It's coming back down a little bit, but they just blew everybody out of the water.
Yeah. They took their bulls got a little bit of revenge there for a second. We'll see if it holds up.
Morgan Stanley survey according to my buddy Sam Rowe. Hey Sam, how are you? I'll post what he posts out there. And he's saying exactly what I've just said. The softness in the year of the holiday season. Yeah. He's right. And that's why I think we're going to see some. So I think we're going to see Fed lower rates.
We'll say Ondas holding was up in the pre-market pretty big. Now down 2% here, so getting hit kind of hard.
Tick down 1,000 after that run there. It's just nonsense, guys. Be careful out there, right?
Dell bouncing back a little bit now, down 5%. Had been down as low as 123.33 before bouncing back up.
Ford is partnering with Amazon. Ford is partnered with Amazon for dealers to sell used vehicles online. They're not selling books online anymore. They're selling everything online. Probably sell your grandmother if they get a chance to do it.
We'll point out one that anyone that's been watching it for a while knows that I think is just been well over its head, plugged down another 5% here today.
Yeah, we need to see EVs really. Yeah.
And this was more about the individual company that just hasn't made a profit, but has, spent a lot and doesn't seem to have it turned around, in my personal
It just drives me
opinion.
crazy when people complain about the price of gas and they don't buy an electric vehicle. Oh, well, electric vehicle. Okay, well, let's stop complaining about the price of gas. Yeah, because that's what you did. You bought a machine that sucks down gas. So stop complaining about it.
Apple down 1% here, Steve, now.
Yeah, I mean, the question mark around that one is obviously Tim Cook's succession there. So that's, I think I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, 107.02 again there on Disney. We could really push up here on Disney.
Steve, what do you think about the news that UBS might look to relocate to the U.S.?
Huge. What the biggest Swiss bank over there coming to the United States is big. That's very big. It's very big.
And the fact that they've been engaging with Mr. Besant about it.
Secretary of Treasury. You have to ask the question why, right?
Because of the capital requirement laws that they just passed in Switzerland that they don't like.
Right. But what about our immigration laws? For those people who work at UBS?
Steven, or the funnier part to me is if you're part of the Swiss government that just went to bat for them to help them get Credit Suisse under their umbrella, and now you're going to take it both outside the country. That would be a financial war right there.
There's already a financial war in that situation, I think.
Tick slightly negative, advanced decline now down about 1,400. So after going as low as negative 2,500 or so, moving back up a little bit, we do see the Dow Jones slightly negative here. And if we look at the different indices across the S&P, it is a mixed bag. Energy getting hit a little bit today, down about 0.5 percentage point. We do see materials down about 33 basis points, and the financial sector down about 30 basis points. Leaders so far today are communications, XLC up about 1 percentage point, and then XLU, which is utilities sector, up about 60 basis points. So early morning exuberation seems to be weighting thin here as the algos would have weighed it down, Steve.
Look, the algos, I think we're going to find out that the algos didn't do too well this go around. They're trying to make up for it by over trading, and I think that's what's happening. It's one of my rules: don't overtrade, right? And I think that's what you're seeing right now. I think you see over trading right now. Tesla at 410 now. Last week when I talked about it, when Tesla was under 400, that was I'm not shorting Tesla anymore. That was a 2-week period where shorting Tesla was very profitable for me, but I'm not doing that anymore, right? And that's what I'm saying, right? So now you're seeing that motion where I'm not doing that anymore. Now it's a slow ride back up, and I'm not doing that anymore. Tesla under 400 was a good positive move. So I think the algos are trying to shake people, but they're not. It's not working actually. Zero DTEs are still prevalent right now, but I will tell you that I think the zero DTEs will probably die out here in the next month or two as we start to get into the holiday season. So I think you're going to see some movement into stocks that you don't normally see movement into, and that's why I moved a lot into materials. I moved, my Japan stocks are doing quite well right now, and I moved that in there months ago.
Well, today most of those took a big move to the downside.
They did take a big hit today, but for the most part, I've been.
I just point that, and I don't mean that as a negative to you. I'm just. It also means it gives opportunities for people that maybe have missed out, and those that are looking for some easy plays. MUFG, SMFG are two of the ones that Mr. Buffett likes to invest in. They're trading houses that are like private
95.4 there on Bitcoin there again. So it could be another pop here, that upside here. I said that we could possibly see 100,000 by the end of the weekend, if they run right.
That's a tough one right now. You're going to exhaust it probably more in that range of 97,500 area right now. So, it's just the way it moves. The 5K to the upside would require that would take something from news. That would, Nvidia, if Nvidia crushes earnings and everything starts to go animal, spirits again, that's what it would take to move it that far, that quick.
Right.
Bitcoin moving back up 95.5 nicely here. Tick's gone pretty positive. We're right about, I usually say it's that 950 is when the algos seem to sort of kick it off a little bit and they calm down. That first 20 minutes seems to be where they do the majority of their damage. VIX back up at 2036, so it didn't go far enough down to give me a chance to reload there. But actually down pretty significantly off the highs of the day. Gold again, saying that 4073, not really giving a clear direction one way or the other. Bitcoin 95,300 here so far. Apple's down more than 1 percentage point so far, draining on the market. Same thing, Nvidia down a little bit. Google up almost 6% now on Warren Buffett's investment there. Other movers here this morning. We see Qubit up 12.64%. So after sliding from highs in the pre-market up almost at 1334, pulled all the way back down to 1091 before moving back to the upside here. We do see some continuation out of Figure also here, up now 12.13%. Nicely moving to the upside. Could give me a Hail Mary in a option call we're in at Prosper for all of us. It is trying. Block, nice little move to the upside today, XYS. We've also seen Nibius Group up nicely here a little bit, 3.7%. On the laggards, Dell has bounced off the lows of the day. We still see Hewlett Packard down about 3.2%. Tesla was a laggard earlier, now up 2.36. So 414, Steve, never mind 409. Tesla actually nicely moving to the upside. Tick still slightly positive, advanced decline continuing to move towards neutral. Dow Jones still down slightly here, but the Qs, S&P, and the RUT are all positive so far today. WTI did regain 60, and Steve, as you mentioned, Brent shot up here a little bit, 64.15.
Yeah,
see, on the intro,
things, right?
And Steve, the bond traders are saying maybe they do think a cut is in the basis here, as we see the 10-year starting to move to the downside now. So maybe we do see that move with your insight there.
Yeah, they're raising rates now. I mean, we'll see it. I think we'll see it soon. I mean, in the next meeting, yeah. Tick just went off the charts for me. Where'd it go to? Yeah, up 300. Whew. It was down like almost 1,000 earlier.
VIX is actually it's up 1.56 on the day, but it's been moving down since the cash opened. Advanced decline continuing to move up into the right direction.
It's gonna be escalator up, elevator down for a while, and then people will get tired of it and will stop. But yeah, I'm not too concerned about this right now. I'm liking this market right now. I think it's positive. I think it's one of those that you can just invest in and you can stay a little bit longer now.
There you go. You heard it from Steve.
I'm really liking this.
Q's continuing to move to the upside here, now up a half a percentage point. So again,
Well done,
I don't argue with Steve's view on this. One of the few times we're both in agreement on something like that. Oh, actually, that's not true. We agree a lot on it.
I agree on almost everything, dude.
Yeah. Best Buy just went positive. Seen a lot more of the retailers move a little bit positive here. Costco at 919. That's the one that I'm thinking about maybe making a run. They don't have earnings coming up, but there'll definitely be a sympathy play on the earnings.
Nasdaq's up 140 points right now.
Yeah, like I said, moving to the upside.
I'm not scared. Yeah, I'm not scared.
Dow Jones trying to go positive here. That's the only laggard we see so far in the major indices. See what other pumpers we've got moving here so far. Steve, one you and I never can figure out. The Vita Coco Company, those coconut water folks, up 13.11% here. Looks like they set a new all-time high. That company is now worth $2.83 billion, Steve.
Yep.
And they're up on the fact that they cut its average tariff rate on U.S. imports from 23% to about 6%. Cuban up 11.13%, as we mentioned. EBIT System up about 7.93% here. Defense contractor out of Israel, big into the drone area. Seeing big volume on Nuvalent, NUVL up 6.72% on a pretty big volume here today. Micron holding up 4.38%. So it does look like we want to try to move to the upside here.
We do. And I'm gonna stay long. I'm gonna stay long all week. I'm not gonna go negative. I'm not gonna change. I mean, I'm gonna trade a little bit, but I like this market. I think the capitulation has happened. Hearing reports that there's a big train, New Jersey, New York City commuters facing a heavy delay. Could be on the New Jersey Transit, on the path. Ouch, that's terrible because goes from Newark Penn to Hoboken and 33rd. So that's a lot of Midtowners that can't get to work this morning. Fed's Jefferson now says artificial intelligence is influencing how firms think about labor now and going forward.
So isn't that exactly the opposite of what our friend Mrs. Daly said?
Yeah, I don't really understand. I mean, yeah, I don't. He's wrong.
Ticket is slightly down, advanced decline, still moving in the right direction in general. Qs, though, unable to really break above the 612 area. It's been getting down in that area. Same thing. S&P right around that 674 has been a little rough for it so far. We do see a little bit of a pullback so far. Mag 7, NVIDIA is still down about 1% here after bouncing back. Same thing. Apple bounced back a little bit, down 84 basis points. Microsoft, the opposite, has been pulling back from that 512 area. Google still moving to the upside, up almost 6% now. So Mr. Buffett definitely having a good day. Swan song there. Amazon moving to the downside on news of an outsized raise for them, a bond offering there. Meta down slightly here, pretty volatile right around its current price. Tesla also like Google moving nicely to the upside, up almost 3% here. Netflix is back on lows of the day, so to speak. So mixed bag across them all for sure. Financial starting to bounce back. Also, JP Morgan's now gone positive on the day. Same thing, Goldman Sachs. Also, those were in negatives. We still see Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley all red on the day. Taking a look at the chip sector, not anything not named NVIDIA sort of doing pretty good. Broadband up about 2.5%, ASML up 1.35%. We see ARM up 2.85%. The big winner in the chip sector today, Micron up 4.35%.
There it is.
What's that?
Morgan Stanley just raised their S&P 500 target price to 7,800.
Wow. And Micron is up on the news that Samsung is raising memory chip prices by up to 60% due to high demand from AI data centers. Micron in the same business, so you would think that they will also be looking to gain a little bit of profit there. We see Lam Research up nicely, about 3.26% here also this morning. Mixed bag across the crypto stocks. We do see the Bitcoin mining companies and data center companies moving to the upside. IREN, the big leader up here, up 5.41% so far today. We do still see Coinbase, SoFi, PayPal getting hit today. Robinhood also down another 2.2%. So those are still getting hit pretty hard so far. Seen a huge run out of Figure, FIGR, now up 15%. This is definitely a short squeeze to a point here.
Could have another run here. I think the whole market starts to push here. 107.50 now on Disney.
Tick is positive right around 180 here. Advanced decline minus 500.
Construction spending 0.2% versus minus 0.1. Previous estimate was minus 0.2%. So construction spending up. We're starting to get some numbers coming in here, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, there you go. Numbers are going to start to come in here. Steve, we are at the end of our hour. Any last words for us today?
I think we're going to stay positive here. I see nothing negative right now. Yeah, the world's negative right now, but I'm kind of liking this. We're starting to get back to normal. So maybe with these new numbers, maybe with people relaxing with their issues here, and maybe some of that capitulation is happening. So yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm staying positive.
Awesome. I love it. And I do think sort of to the same thing. I think that the data fog coming off is going to make people, I think what's happening today is data is pointing to the Fed needing to cut, like you're saying, which is not what no data was sort of telling us, right? No data was giving us the indication they would not cut. Now that maybe that's back on the table, we could see some run today. So Quasar Markets, we will see you tomorrow from BigBeat and myself. Have a great day there.